Watch and burn.
Hey everybody, so tonight I want to discuss the 2008 film The Children. And what this tells the story of is Chloe and Robbie, I can't remember if, no, Chloe and Robbie own the sort of cottage estate where Elaine, Jonah, and their 16-year-old Casey go up to get together and sort of do this family thing. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jonah is attempting to sell some sort of product or some sort of idea to Robbie, trying to get Robbie to invest in it. I'm guessing that Robbie and Chloe have money. And so they're up there with all their kids. They have little kids whose names I do not remember. I've seen this movie a billion times. I don't remember the kids' names. And what this movie is about how something that is completely unexplained, something completely unpredictable, causes the children to fall ill, but they also turn psychotic. They don't just start to throw up, which they do somewhat, but they very quickly start to come after the adults. But it's done in such a believable way. I mean, there's nothing worse than when there's a movie where there's little kids especially who are the antagonists and they're terrorizing the adults, and it's a lot of like nonsensical shit that kids could never do and then adults would never fall victim to because they are just little kids. The kids in this, they're more innocently cunning. Like they don't so much attack as they set up. You know, I think it's, oh Christ, is Chloe the blonde one? Shit. Well, anyways, she's trying to get her son off the jungle gym, and he just keeps pulling back from her as she's trying to get closer to him, and she falls, and she bends back the wrong way, and she snaps her shin bone, and it comes right through the skin, and it's like, oh, fuck. And then Robbie, when Robbie's on the sled headed down, one of the little kids just grabs this thing filled with, like, garden tools and whatnot, and there's, like, this, those little three-pronged things that you dig into the garden with. I don't know what they're called, because I don't garden. Throws that in front of him, and it kills him. Like, it flaps his head open, and he's fucking bleeding everywhere. And nothing looks more amazing than blood on snow. Like, there was this one time in grade 7 when one of the teachers, when we were on one of our retreats up at Ganaraska, she was showing off how to, like, cut wood. And she was really showing off. And she was throwing the wood up, bringing the hatchet around with one arm, and she's slicing it. And then, this one time, I missed it because I wasn't really paying attention because I was standing at the back because we're all to learn how to chop wood for some reason because, yeah, when you're fucking 11 or 12 years old, it's an essential skill to pick up. But anyways, all of a sudden, I heard her say my teacher, Mr. Guillet. I heard her say his first name. And you know whenever a fucking teacher uses another teacher's first name that it's fucking DEFCON 1. She was like, Phil. And then everybody stepped back and we're like, oh! And then I pushed up to the front and I saw the blood all on the snow and her fucking thumb was sitting on the stump. Because as she was tossing up the wood, showing off to a bunch of 12-year-olds, she fucking hacked off her thumb, yo. I do have to say that made the trip a hell of a lot more interesting because Ganaraska sucked. That place was hell. We had to do the dishes, and we had to go to bed early, we had to wake up early to learn about leaves and shit. That ain't no fucking class trip. Come on. End of year, my ass. Feels like there's going to be a fucking exam at the end of it. But anyways, yeah, so, oh, that's right, I was talking about how nothing looks, like the blood on the snow surrounding the teachers, her fucking thumb, like, it was just so real, because, of course, it was. And that's what I love about this movie, is there is a lot of blood in the snow. And at one point, the kids take Robbie's body into this little, like, play tent thing they have, and they cut his stomach open and stuff a toy doll into it. And it's really raw, and it's really effective, because it's off-putting and fucking scary. And then, I mean, I love how this movie, I would never classify this movie as a slow burn. This is a straight hour and a half. You're in and you're out. But I like how the kid carnage, you know something's wrong pretty much from the jump, because you can see their eyes going a little squirrely, but it doesn't happen immediately. The movie has time for everyone to sort of settle in. The kids start saying, oh, I don't feel good, and they start throwing up this weird shit. And then the whole time, see, when they call for help to get Robbie, 911 doesn't say, oh shit, there's some sort of epidemic happening with kids killing everybody all over. They just say, we can't get to you right now because the roads are blocked because of the snow. So we're led to believe that maybe this is just an isolated incident until the end of the movie when Casey and I believe Chloe, assuming Chloe is the blonde chick, they're escaping in a car. They see kids everywhere in the forest as if the kids are migrating towards Robbie and Chloe's estate, cottage thing for some reason. So this is at least maybe a countrywide problem. This place, of course, this movie takes place in England. So maybe this is happening in just the UK or whatever. But by the end of the movie, it isn't isolated. There are other kids showing up to help the kids there wipe out the adults. My favorite part about this movie is how it ends. Casey, who's 16, she's leaving with Chloe again, assuming I'm right about the blonde chick's name. And you see Casey's eyes start to turn, and then the movie just cuts. Because the whole time, Casey was sort of treated like an adult. She was behaving like an adult, but she is 16, so she is still a kid. And then you see her eyes start to go all messy at the very end, and then it cuts. And if that's the case, the blonde chick's fucking done for, because her shin's already sticking out of her leg and her stabbed a little, and she's all terrified. And then she's going to have like pretty much a fully grown 16-year-old leaping on her as she's trying to drive. This movie was amazing. This movie came out way back when. Not enough people remember it. My God, we have to keep this movie alive. And that's where I'm leaving it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discussed the little-known 2008 horror film known as The Children. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But like always, most importantly, please don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I'm going to go. Have a good night.